Good evening, students. Am I audible?
Good evening, sir.
Can someone tell me what was the last topic we were dealing with? I remember conservative and non-conservative forces. If I'm not wrong,
Yes,
correct?
sir. That only.
Yes.
So we saw those things, right? I hope you guys revised it, right?
Yes.
So I'm going to tell you some important. We'll be discussing some important points or problems based on. Okay. Tell me one thing. Did I discuss about the graph also? When you draw a graph between force and displacement, it gives you the work done. Did I tell this? Yes, I've done it. I got the notes. Okay. So work done from graph between force and displacements. How do you calculate the work done from this graph? By calculating the area, right? Next, shall we proceed, guys? Now see, I'll be discussing some problems. Okay. Yes, I think we did 6.1, which is based on the concept of projection and all those things. Let's start with example 6.2. Okay. It is well known that the raindrop falls under the influence of downward gravitational force and the opposing resistive force. Okay. So there is a raindrop. Raindrop is approximated to a sphere. It falls under the influence of its own weight and it experiences a resistive force in this direction. Okay. The latter is known to be proportional to the speed of the raindrop, but it is otherwise undetermined. What is the meaning of this? Can someone tell me? But the latter is known to be proportional to the speed of the drop, but is otherwise undetermined. Meaning? So they are trying to say that the resistive force is directly proportional to the speed with which the raindrop is falling. But we don't know what is the value of it. But it is observed that, yes, as the speed increases, the resistive force is also increasing. Okay. Now, what is the question? Now, you need to consider a drop of mass 1 gram falling from a height of 1 kilometer. It hits the ground with a speed of 50 meters per second. What is the work done by the gravitational force? See, suppose the question was like this. What is the work done? Does that make any sense? I told you on the, I told this in the first class itself. I asked a question. What is the work done alone? Does it make sense?
No, sir.
Why? Because what should be the question for it to be completed?
We should
What
know
is the
which force.
Yes. So here, if you observe, if you try to, actually the problem is simple. The question is very big. So there is a raindrop, let's say of mass m. It is falling under the influence of gravity. So mg, and it is falling through a height h. Okay. What is the work done by the gravitational force? So work done by gravitational force, what can I say? It is going to be force into displacement, mgh. It's nothing but the concept of potential energy that you already know. So m is how much? 1 into 10 power minus 3 into g is, see, for the time being, I'll take it as 10. Okay. And the distance it is traveling is 1 kilometer. So that is 10 power 3 meter. So cancel this and this, answer will be 10 joule. Did I make any mistake?
Sir, are you writing?
What is the work done by the gravitational force? Yes, the gravitational force. Yeah, mgh, that is 10 joule. Yes. Work done by the gravitational force, 10 joule. What is the work done by the unknown resistive force? Right, this is where the important question is. Okay, this the second point is important. I'll tell you how to solve. Will you be able to solve this second part of the problem using the formula of F into displacement, force into displacement into cos theta? Will you be able to
Sir,
solve
we
the
don't know
second?
the magnitude, sir.
Sorry, I didn't get you.
We don't know the magnitude of that resistive force.
Yes, yeah. We don't know because they told clearly it is undetermined. We don't know the value of it, so we cannot use it. So, what is the other option that we have in our hand? So, whenever you get stuck with this kind of a problem, right? See, I'll tell you how to solve. I hope the first part is copied by you guys. One minute. See, last class I taught you one thing. What is it? Work energy theorem. So work done by all the forces is equal to change in kinetic energy is there, right? So before I proceed with this problem, I want you all to make a note. What were the two theorems that I taught you last class? One is work energy theorem and the second is energy conservation theorem. Right? I hope you guys remember this. So write down an important note. Work energy theorem is applicable only. Work energy theorem is applicable. Is applicable when conservative and non-conservative forces are acting in the system. Forces are present in the system, right? Whereas energy conservation is applicable only when conservative forces are acting in the system. Okay. Now tell me, in this problem, which theorem can I apply? In the current problem that we are doing, I have to apply work energy theorem because what are all the two forces that are acting? One is gravitational and the second is the resistive force. So last class I told you one important point. All resistive forces are what? They are non-conservative in nature, whereas gravitational force is conservative. So can I write work done by gravitational force plus work done by rotational force is equal to the change in kinetic energy? So what is the work done by gravitational force? 10 plus the work done by the resistive force is equal to what is change in kinetic energy? Half mv square minus half mu square. Okay, this will be equal to half into 10 power minus 3 into v square. What is v? It is 50 square minus what is u square? 0 square. Okay, because it is going to start from rest only. So this should be 2500 divided by 10 power minus 3. So it should be 1250 into 10 power minus 3. Or it is going to be 1.25 joule. So WR is equal to 1.25 minus 10. What is the answer? Minus 8 point minus 8.75.
75.
So what does that minus sign indicate here? That the work done by the resistive force is negative. Generally, we know, right? Work done by resistive forces are always negative. So if suppose the same question comes in assertion reason, right? What will you write? So they'll give the statement like this: work done by resistive force is always negative. What is the reason for it? What is the correct reason for it? Because the force and the displacement are always in
Opposite direction.
opposite direction. That is the reason. It is always theta will always be 180 degrees. That is the reason of that negative sign.
Sir, can you tell why work energy theorem is applicable only when there is one conservative and non-conservative?
I didn't say only when conservative. It is applicable when conservative and non-conservative both forces are present. If only conservative force is there, then you can apply work energy and energy conservation. Whereas if non-conservative force is also there, then you can apply only work energy theorem. That is what I meant.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Please make a clear note. So by any chance, did you understand that you should apply work energy theorem only if there is non-conservative force also? Is that what you have understood?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that is not the thing. Please correct it. If that is your understanding, correct it. I repeat it, guys. Please make a note. Work energy theorem is applicable when you have both conservative and non-conservative forces. So it doesn't mean that only when conservative forces are there, work energy theorem cannot be applied. You can apply it. So what I'm trying to say is something like this. We can make a column like this. When you have conservative forces, you can apply both work energy and energy conservation. Whereas when you have non-conservative force, then you can apply only work energy. If you have non-conservative plus conservative also, you can apply only work energy. So this is the meaning.
Sir, why isn't energy conversion applicable for non-conservative force?
A statement itself tells you. Statement itself tells you. Read the statement again. What did I say? When an object is subjected to.
Yes, sir. Okay, sir. Conservative.
Because non-conservative forces will make the object lose energy. Okay, that is the reason it is not applicable. Next. Try this problem. So there is a cyclist who comes to a skidding stop in 10 meters. So during this process, the force on the cycle due to the road is 200 Newton and is directly opposing the motion. So let's say he has applied brake and the person is skidding. So the cycle is moving in which direction? In the forward direction. Okay, cycle's motion is in the forward direction, whereas the force that is acting on it is in the backward direction. Okay, how much distance has it moved in the forward direction? It has moved a distance of 10 meters. So what is the work done by this force? How much work does the road do on the cycle? So work done by the road on cycle is how much? So the force applied by the road is 200, and this 200 is acting for a distance of 10 meters into cos of how much?
180.
180. It's going to be a negative force because it's
180.
obviously friction, right? So it is going to be minus 2000 joule. See, pi here refers to 180. I hope you know. So that is minus 2000 joule. Okay. How much work does the cycle do on the road? So I told you, right, friction is an action-reaction pair. So if the force exerted on the wheel by the road is 200 Newton, what will the wheel try to exert on the road? It will try to exert the same 200 Newton because it's an action-reaction pair. So can I say that the work done by the cycle on the road is also 2000 only?
Yes, sir.
But the answer is no.
So
It is 0 because though this 200 Newton is acting, is the road moving? Is there any displacement of road? No, right?
no, sir.
So what will happen is, since the road is at rest, though the force is acting, non-zero force is there, but since the displacement is 0, work done by the cycle on the road is actually taken to be 0. Okay. Shall I move on?
Sir, I have a doubt.
Please tell me.
Sir, sir, is there any way to find out whether the given velocity in the question is final velocity or initial velocity?
No, it depends on the situation only. Given, is there a method? Means I don't have an answer for it. You have to understand it from it. Like, give me an example, I'll explain.
Sir, in the last problem, sir, raindrop problem.
The previous problem, right? See, and it hits the ground. Hits the ground means it's final only, no? See, it depends on which journey you're taking as initial and final. So if you're saying the object hitting the ground is final, then the object being dropped from a certain height is initial. So generally, whenever this word falling comes, right, initial velocity is taken to be 0, and it is hitting the ground with a velocity of 50 meters per second. Now you tell me which is initial, which is final. I hope you would have
Sir,
understood.
initial is 0, sir.
Now I hope you understood, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay, next. In a ballistics demonstration, a police officer fires a bullet of mass 50 grams with a speed of 200 meters per second on a soft plywood of thickness 2 centimeters. The bullet emerges with only 10% of its initial kinetic energy. What is the emergent speed of the bullet? So how to do, guys? So this is actually a slightly tricky problem. I'll explain it. Okay. Before I proceed, I just want to know, does anyone know what is the meaning of this?
Police training.
Okay. Is that so?
Sir, it is like they teach how to shoot.
Okay. So that is there, and there is something called as, see, there is you would have seen some crime movies and all, right? In crime scenes and all, let's say there is a firing that has taken place. Let's say it's an action movie. Firing has taken place. Have you ever seen, they would have calculated how the bullet has gone out of the window and all those things? Like if they want to analyze the scene, have you ever observed that they speak? If not, next time observe it. No, there is nothing wrong in that. Observe it if at all you watch. Okay. So what exactly happens is, depending on the direction in which the bullet has traveled, how much, to what extent the bullet has got pierced into a particular wall and all those things, they will try to actually frame a report. Are you able to understand? So in the demonstration, so what is happening is, to understand, let's say the policeman has a bullet of mass 50 grams present in his hand. So the bullet that he's using in his particular revolver or whatever it is 50 grams, and that bullet can travel with a speed of 200 meters per second, and it is hit onto a soft plywood. So you know what is a plywood, right? So there is a plywood, Okay, and the plywood is how much thickness? It is of thickness 2 centimeter. It's very small. So the bullet, when it is able to travel with the speed, you use common sense and tell me, will the bullet be able to come out of the 2 centimeter?
Yes, sir.
Obviously,
sir.
right? Because if you look at the speed, no, it is 200 meters per second. So 2 centimeter will cross in no time. So, but what is happening? The bullet, let's say it is entering with a particular speed. Let's say it is entering with a speed of vi. So the person who asked me how to understand how to take the initial and final velocity, concentrate. Now, what is happening? We understood that the bullet is coming out. It is coming out with some final velocity. So generally, till now, all the problems that we solved had the final velocity slightly, like obviously greater than the initial velocity because the object was accelerating, right? But in this case, if you observe, the bullet emerges only with 10% of its initial kinetic energy. They didn't say anything about the velocity. So if the kinetic energy is there, final kinetic energy, how is it related to the initial kinetic energy of this object?
Kinetic is 10% of initial.
Yes. So kinetic energy is equal to 10%, 10 divided by 100 into initial kinetic energy. Correct? But now tell me, what is actual physics involved behind this kind of a scenario to happen? Who ate up the maximum energy? 90% of the energy, who ate it up? Where is
So
it
the
lost?
impact of the bullet on the plywood.
The plywood, what would see when the bullet comes and hits the plywood, what would the plywood try to do? Will it allow you?
Sir,
Will it say
it acts as a resistive force.
yes? It will offer some, it will try to stop the bullet, right? But it will fail. It has failed in this scenario, yes. So it applies, there is some resistive work done by this object. Now, how to find the emergent speed in this case? So it's actually a simple problem only. I just wanted to understand how good you're thinking. So it is 10 divided by 100 into, what is the initial kinetic energy? Half into m is 50 into 10 power minus 3 into v square, that is 200 the whole square, right? Once you get this, will you be able to calculate the final velocity? Half into 50 into 10 power minus 3 is equal to 1 by 10 into half into 50 into 10 power minus 3 into 200 square. Cancel, cancel. Into v square, no? So what will be the value of v square? V square is 200 square divided by 10. Which implies v will be equal to 200 divided by root 10, or it is going to be 20 root 10. That's the answer. So this is going to be the velocity with which it will come out.
Sir,
Tell me.
sir, since kinetic energy is directly proportional to the velocity, we can say from the question
It's
that
not proportional to velocity, it's proportional to velocity square. That's what is
how, sir?
happening. See, like if I have to solve the problem in that way, then I could have directly written v square is equal to 10%, that is 0.1 times u square. That's it. This is the actual equation. If it is a competitive exam based question, you understood what I did? I used your concept only.
Yes, sir. We can do
Because
like
half
this, right?
m, yeah, half m is same on the both sides.
Yes, sir.
So half m and half m will get cancelled. Then you will get this.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Okay.
So those many meter per second. Be careful with the units. Somebody's mic is on. Please switch it off. .5. A woman pushes a trunk on a railway platform which has the rough surface. Please tell me.
Sir, can you go to the previous sum?
Okay. Tell me.
Sir, here they are mentioned like speed is reduced by approximately 68%, sir. So what does it denote, sir?
This one, huh? Approximately
No, sir.
68. Okay. Okay. What do they mean is what you're asking.
Yes, sir.
So final velocity is 68.32. Now what are they saying? So they're trying to tell one point that 10% of kinetic energy is remaining, means how much percent of kinetic energy is lost? 90% of kinetic energy is lost. Mostly that loss will be in the form of sound or heat only. You touch the plywood, no, wherever the hole was there, you touch and see it will be very hot. Okay. So 90% of kinetic energy is lost. So what will like how Raghav told? He told that kinetic energy is directly proportional to velocity, right? But actually it is proportional to velocity square. So what mistake will happen is if I give the same question as optional question and I say the decrease in velocity is 90%, most of them will tick that. But what is the actual decrease in velocity? But actually, what is the decrease in velocity? The velocity has come from 200 to 63.2, correct? So how much was it initially? 200 minus 63, sorry, 68.32 or 63.2. What is it? Divided by 200. Okay. Multiplied with 100. Okay, I'll give you a minute time. Take your calculator. Do this calculation fast and tell me what the answer you're getting. You can use calculator for time being.
68.4.
Sir,
So-
why are you dividing by 200, sir?
Yes, I'll tell you. So what I did is I found the change in velocity and I divided with initial velocity. Okay. If you recollect the concept of absolute, or if you recollect the concept of relative error, you remember there is something
Yes,
called as
sir.
relative error when you. So in a similar way, this is called as fractional change. Okay. So the meaning of fraction, please make a note. All these questions are generally asked in competitive exams. But yeah, since this time it is MCQ, you can get this kind of question also. These are all some hidden information which you will not find in textbook. Please write it down. So if there is a question where they are asking you fractional change, okay, fractional change is generally final velocity, final of something minus initial of something, the whole divided by initial. Okay, that is change in a particular value divided by the initial value is called as fractional change. Whereas if you take the fractional change and multiply it with 100, you guys tell me what should be the name given to it.
Percentage.
That's it. So this is called as percentage change. That's it. It's a simple naming structure. Now you understood why I divided with 200.
Yes, sir.
One mistake that I did here is, see, actually, I'll not call it as a mistake because I know it is going to be negative. I did it, but generally, whenever you talk about change, you should always take final minus initial. So 63.2 minus 200 divided by 200, it will actually give you minus 68.4. That negative sign in this case indicates that there is a loss of energy. Sorry, loss of velocity. So what is happening? The kinetic energy is lost by 90%, but velocity is not lost by 90%. But how much velocity is lost? It is only lost by approximately 68%. That is the meaning of the statement that they have given. I hope I answered your question.
Yes, sir.
Right? Yeah. Moving on to the
Sir,
next.
can you just go scroll up, sir? I'll take a screenshot.
Yeah, please. Want me to scroll it even more up?
Yes, sir.
1 minute.
Taken, sir.
Okay. We'll move on to the next problem. What is, so we did 6.4, right? Now we'll do 6.5. So a woman pushes a trunk on a railway platform which has a rough surface. She applies a force of 100 Newton over a distance of 10 meters. Thereafter, she gets progressively tired, and her applied force reduces linearly with distance to 50 Newton. Okay. The total distance through which the trunk has been moved is 20 meters. Plot the force applied by the woman and the frictional force which, okay. Plot the force applied by the woman and the frictional force, which is 50 Newton versus displacement. Okay. Calculate the work done by the two forces over 20 meters. Let me break it into chunks and explain this concept. Did you guys understand the question? Are you able to visualize it? So this is force. This is displacement. Okay. So woman pushes a trunk on a railway platform which has rough surface. She applies a force of 100 Newton over a distance of 10 meters. So 0 is the initial distance. Let's say till 10 meters, how much is the force she was applying?
100.
100 Newton. After that, what happened? She got tired and she gradually let the force down, right? Till it reached how much value? Till it reached a value of 50. Correct? That 50 is achieved after how much distance? After a distance of the total distance, 20 meters. So at the position she was at 20 meters, from here the force has got dropped by 50%. Right. Now, how much is the plot the force applied by the woman and the frictional force, which is 50 Newton. So frictional force generally will act in which direction? Will be in the opposite direction. So frictional force is generally taken to be negative. So there is a frictional force of how much value acting? There is always a force of minus 50 Newton continuously acting on the object. Okay, so this is the graph. Now calculate the work done by the two forces over this 20 meters. Right. So work done by the woman's force is how much? Is equal to this area. So how much is this area? This is 100. So area of this rectangle plus area of this trapezium. So how much is the area, guys? Calculate it. Area of rectangle plus area of trapezium. So what is the area of rectangle?
1000.
1000 joule plus what is the area of trapezium? Half into base into sum of the parallel heights. So this height is 100, this height is 50, so it is going to be 150. Cancel 75. So it is going to be 750. So 1750 joules is the amount of work done by whom? By the woman. But what is the work done by the frictional force? 50 into 20 with a minus sign. Because here the area is coming below x-axis. So it is going to be minus 1000 joule.
Sir, what are the factors on which friction depends on?
It depends on the surface, no? And the area that is in contact with it. It mainly depends on the surface.
Here it is constant.
Here it is constant. That's what they are telling you.
Okay, sir.
Because we don't know what kind of a surface on which the trunk is being pulled.
So even if we push it with
Yeah, it should
a
be the
great,
unless they give it, unless they mention it. Yeah, unless they mention it, yes, it is going to be the same.
sir, can you do this by integrating also?
No need, no. Why do we need to integrate? Yes, we
No,
can
sir,
do, but you need
I'm
to know.
requesting.
I can do it, but you need to know a little bit of math for it. Like, see, I can write the equation of this line. You need to know the equation of it. See, generally you can do integral of f of x into dx. Okay, between 0 to 10. But you need to know what is it. I'll do for this rectangle and show. Triangle, I will not, the trapezium I will not show because you will get confused. You need to know the concept of slope to write the equation. It's a straight line, no?
Sir,
Okay, I'll
you are
do,
telling
but
y is equal to mx plus c.
it's not that easy. It's not that easy because here you don't know what is c.
Yes, sir.
That is not
Okay.
the only equation. That is not the only equation. There are other y minus y1 is equal to m into x minus x1. There are many things. Okay, you will learn it in your 10th chapter, in your math. Till then, let's not hurry. But since you asked, requested, I will do for rectangle and show it to you. Sharia?
Okay.
I'll do for this rectangle. A, B, C, D. Okay. So what is that you need is you need the function. So function is this line. So what is the equation of this line? This line is parallel to whom?
X-axis.
X-axis. No, it is at a distance of how much value?
100 units.
So can I say f is equal to 100? Correct? Huh? So this
Yes,
f
sir.
is equal to 100 is what is the equation of this line? Simple. Okay. Now, what is going to be this area? To write down this area, it is going to be integral of f of x into dx. So integral of what is the function? It is 100 into dx is dx only. Okay, 100 into dx. But where is the value of x changing from? X is changing from 0 to 10. You understood why I'm taking the limits of x? Because it is dx here. So what is constant? Constant will come out of the integral 0 to 10 integral dx. Are you able to understand till this step? Guys, if you're not able to understand also, it's not a big deal.
Sir, why
If you
have you
don't,
taken the lower limit as 0?
because displacement is 0 only, no, initially.
Okay, sir. Yeah. Okay, sir. Understood.
Okay, so 0 to 10. So integral of dx is x. So 100 into integral of dx between 0 to 10 is 10. So how much will you get? You will get the same 1000 joule.
Okay, sir.
Okay, but anyways, I will not suggest you to take this method at all.
Okay, sir. I just asked.
No problem. I am telling for others. Others, you need not take it when you have this constant force, unless the equations are given. Okay. See, for example, you have another problem itself based on integration. We would have actually waited till here. But I will do this problem later. It is slightly tough because you need to know integral of 1 by x, which is log x. Okay, I'll do this problem later. It will confuse you. We'll do one last problem based on these concepts. Try this problem, 6.25. So there are two inclined frictionless tracks. So whenever you read the word frictionless, right, your mind should think of conservative forces. One gradual and other steep meet at a point A where the two stones are allowed to slide down from rest. So slide down from rest means initial velocity is 0. One on each track. Will the stones reach the bottom at the same time? Will they reach there with the same speed? So will they reach the bottom with at the same time is what we need to answer.
No, sir, they won't, sir.
Why?
Sir, actually, on one of the balls, the acceleration will be larger.
Okay.
It is because mg sin theta, so theta will be.
So this is mg sin theta 1 and here it is mg sin theta 2. Perfect. That's right. Then that's it. That's it. Huh?
No, sir, we can't find the speeds with this.
You can't find speed. You can.
Sir, for that we have to use some equation of motion.
Yes, you have to use no equation of motion, or you can use a work energy theorem. I told you work energy theorem, you can solve any problem in this world, especially wherever there are displacements and speeds involved. Okay, if this is h, how much will this height be, this length be? What is h divided by a beta? It is sin theta 1. So h will be equal to ab sin theta 1, correct?
Yes, sir.
Or I can say AB will be equal to h divided by sin theta 1. So let me take it in this way. Now, this is h by sin theta 1. Initially, the velocity is 0 here. Remember, the velocity at this point is what we need to find. Before that, let us apply s is equal to ut plus half at square along AB. So what is the displacement of the object along AB? H divided by sin theta 1 is the displacement. Right, h divided by sin theta 1 is equal to u is 0 plus half into what is the acceleration in this direction, guys?
mg sin theta 1.
Mg sin theta 1 is a force.
And then it will be j sin theta.
Yes, g sin theta 1 into t1 square. So if you calculate t1 square, you will get 2h divided by g sin square theta 1. Similarly, if you calculate t2 square, you will get 2h divided by g sin square theta 2. So what can I say? They won't reach the bottom with the same. They won't reach the bottom at the same time. Correct? Right? Because theta 1 is different from theta 2. Now, what about the velocities? How will you calculate the velocities? V square minus u square is equal to 2as. If you apply it along AB, then what can you say? V square minus, what is the value of u? 0 is equal to 2 into g sin theta 1 into, what about the height? It is h divided by sine theta 1. This and this will get cancelled. So what will you get? You will get it as 2gh. So V1 square is 2gh. Similarly, you calculate V2 square and tell me what is the answer. I'm not sure if you guys are able to understand or not.
It will be the same, sir.
Yes.
But
So what
sine
can you
theta,
conclude? So what can you say? V1
Velocities
square is
will be
equal to,
same.
yes, they both will reach down with the same velocity, but the time taken will be different because they're traveling different distances. Okay.
Sir, or we can say the slope is higher in.
No need of using slope and all that. I'll tell you a simpler way. So whenever you're using this kind of a problem, if you need to calculate the velocity, then you can apply energy conservation also, because the surface is frictionless. Initially at point A, the energy possessed by the object is mgh plus kinetic energy is 0, correct?
Yes,
This
sir.
will be equal to the final kinetic energy possessed here is half m v1 square, half m v1 square plus the potential energy is 0. So what can you say? V1 will be equal to 2gh. Sorry, V1 square is 2gh. You got the same thing. Similarly, if you apply V2 square for the second surface AC, it will come out as 2gh only.
Same, sir.
So
Yes.
what you can conclude is they both will have the same speed, but the time taken will be different. Since I did this mathematical expressions because they asked us to calculate what are the time taken. So you have to substitute all the values here and then find it out. Right? I hope that part you guys can do it, right?
Sir, actually, time taken will be root of those things, right?
Yeah, root of those things. Root of 2h divided by g sine square theta. Okay. So it's a good problem actually. It's covering many concepts, no? Right. Now we will proceed to the next part of this chapter. I'll just give you an introduction because I can't teach it completely today. So one thing is collisions and the second is vertical circular motion. So this one. See, actually this is given as a problem, right? There's actually a concept called as vertical circular motion, because the example for horizontal circular motion that we have seen is a car moving on a level road at a back road. Okay, this is a separate concept. So this is the outline. Okay, so energy part we have completed fully. So the other day I showed you the derivation, no? Conservation of mechanical energy. That is this part only. Okay. Let's get started alone with this.
Sir, I have a doubt.
Please tell me.
Sir, when a ball is at the ground, we tell it has maximum potential energy, right?
When a ball is when a ball is at the ground.
Yes, sir.
Hmm.
We tell mgh is maximum and kinetic energy 0.
No. According to the situation you gave me, see, first of all, whenever you're defining potential energy, don't say mgh. You should first, whenever you're defining potential energy, the important question you're supposed to ask is, which line are you taking as the reference? So if you take this as the reference, okay, then your answer is mgh is 0. But mgh is maximum is also possible when you take this as the reference line. You're able to understand?
Yes, sir.
So whether you say maximum or 0, it doesn't make sense unless you tell me what is the reference line. Okay. In general, what we do is whenever you solve a problem, you will always tend to take the bottommost surface as the reference line and then solve a problem. So if that is going to be, if you're taking, if I'm not wrong, you would have taken that as a reference line, then the value of mgh is 0. Kinetic energy is also 0 unless you tell me that it is given a velocity u in the upward direction.
Yes, sir.
If it is given in this direction, then this was taken as maximum. Sharia?
Okay, sir.
Okay. So that is the same logic I used in some problem also, right? That ballistics are. I used in some problem. The problem that we did now, the inclined plane one. Right. So the concept I wanted to start with is vertical circular motion, but yeah, time is not sufficient. Only 4 minutes are there. So what I'll do, I'll stop with this. So tomorrow we'll do vertical circular motion. Day after tomorrow we'll be doing collisions, and in 3 more classes maximum. So including tomorrow, day after tomorrow, and next Monday, we'll be completing this chapter. Then we'll go to rotation mechanics. Suggest you all to keep revising on everyday basis. Okay. Is there any other doubt from today's class, guys?
Sir, in that inclined plane sum, sir, why did we take
Okay.
acceleration as g sine theta? Did we take mass as just m?
Because, see, inclined plane, what happens? Do you know this concept theta is there? If the object of mass m is kept here, then mg will act in this direction, mg cos theta will be in this direction, and mg sin theta will be in this direction. Do you know this concept?
Sir, yes, sir.
Okay. Then if I take this direction as the force, then we know that mg sin theta will be equal to m into a according to Newton's second law, because F is equal to ma. F is mg sin theta, ma is the formula, m and m will get cancelled, acceleration is g sin theta.
Okay, sir, I understood.
Okay, that's it.
Sir,
Please tell me.
if in the same sum, it was given that friction exists, then what should be done?
Friction exists, then it's a different story, right? But generally you don't have it for CBSE. Friction exists, what will happen is the friction will be in this direction, that is mu into n. No?
Should we
Correct.
subtract?
Yes, you have to. But then
Okay.
I'll just give you an outline. You need not think much about it. Mg sin theta is acting in this direction, and the object, let's say it's accelerating in this direction. Mg sin theta minus mu n will be equal to ma, according to Newton's second law. Mg sin theta minus mu into what is the value of n? N is mg cos theta, accepted?
Yes, sir.
Is equal to ma. M and m will get cancelled. A will be equal to g into sin theta minus mu cos theta. This will.
Okay, sir.
But if you put mu is equal to 0, if it is a frictionless surface, then A will be equal to g sin theta. It's like a general formula.
Sir, what is the actual value of mu?
Depends on the surface. It
Okay,
depends.
sir.
No? It is an
Yes, sir, yes.
experimental. Yeah. So that's it. It's simple. Okay. So keep revising. In tomorrow's class, we are going to discuss something really important, which is a combination of the previous chapter and this chapter. You will be able to understand only if you have a grip of both. So please revise and just go through circular motion also and come to class. So yeah. So that's it from my
Okay,
side. Okay. I'll see you all tomorrow.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Sir.